Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, once again for the second time here tonight from Eldora Speedway. Of course, if you're just tuning in, then it's the first time possibly, but it's our second time here tonight with the World of Thunder. Again, here at Eldora Speedway. This time we're here with the 360 Wing Sprint Cars. We just got done with the super late models. We have a crazy race in store for you. Of course, here in a second, we'll let Nick go over more of that. But before we do, we've got to thank the sponsors that have made this whole thing possible for us to be here tonight. Those include Northwest Racing Series, Walls Beard Co. Beard Balm, RaceOnTexas.com, SimSpeedShop.com, iBog iRacing Broadcast Overlay Graphics, and RaceCore. If it wasn't for these following partners, we would not be here doing what we do for tonight's race. But, of course, my name is Charles here in the studio. Be running the cameras here tonight. We are going to hand it down to the booth to call all the racing action here tonight, if we'll get it out right here one of these days, to Nick Robbins, who is at the track. So, Nick, we'll hand it to you now.
Thank you so much, Charles. Appreciate you being with us this evening. And like Charles said, welcome once again, ladies and gentlemen. World of Thunder 360 Wing Sprint Cars here tonight at the house that Earl built, Eldora Speedway. We've got a huge group of race cars. I see 40. That's right. 40 cars entered in this evening. My normal racing colleague, Mr. Scott Bargeloff, right now, believe it or not, folks, sitting second quick in pre-race practice. He is 8/1000ths of a second out of the top spot right now. That belongs to Jeremy Zarfos, driving the 51 machine, a 13.880 second elapsed time around this racetrack. I tell you what, Eldora Speedway quickly drying out with 40 race cars, 40 sprinters that have signed in this evening. Things have dried out quick, fast, and in a hurry. Some other big names in the top 5 here. We've got David Heilman, third quick in the 040. Jason Nygaard, fourth quick in the 067, and Braden Eiler, fifth quick in the 05 machine right now. Some super fast racers entered in here this evening, and like I said, 40, that's right, 40 cars entered in this evening at the house that Earl built, the Eldora Speedway. Like I said, World of Thunder 360 Wing Sprint Cars on the racetrack this evening. We will have 8-lap heat races. Top 4 of those cars going to transfer into the main event this evening. We'll probably follow that up with, I would imagine, a C main, then a B main, and then we will have a 40-lap main event here this evening. Big race for these Wing 360 sprint cars. So we just wrapped up a 60-lap main event. That win, or for the super late models, also here at Eldora. That win going to DJ Kilinowski in the 13 machine. Good run for DJ earlier this evening. I anticipate a great race here for the 360 Wing Sprint Cars. Like I said, my good buddy Scott Bargeloff, my normal co-announcer, second quick right now in pre-race qualifying, or pre-race practice, I should say. I really impressed, actually, with the run. Scott's much better than myself, that's for sure. But a good run. Scott atop some big, heavy hitters here this evening. A good run in the 100 machine. We are roughly 6 minutes away from the end of pre-race practice here, and we'll get set to go here this evening. I suspect 4 packed heat races with 40 cars. Should be 10 cars apiece. 8 laps the distance for the heat races this evening. We'll take the top 4 to the main event directly, and then we will run probably a C main, I would imagine, with this many cars, and a B main. Last race we had with the super late models, we took 4 out of the B main to make a 20-car field for the 60-lap main event. Some interesting things here. This is my first World of Thunder race to be able to broadcast and announce for. I tell you what, it was a great super late model event. If you just tuned in and got to watch that, I hope you enjoyed it. If you're back again for the sprint cars, thank you so much once again for tuning in this evening. Some really good racing and some interesting things here. I really enjoyed some changes in the format that this racing league had had a good dash race actually to set up the starting order for the top 8 in that feature. I hope that happens again. I thought that was a really cool little addition there to your regular racing format that you normally see here in the iRacing service. Also, a 4-wide salute to the fans. I absolutely loved that. Was a really cool thing to see. I hope that happens again here as well. Once again, back at the house that Earl built, Eldora Speedway in beautiful, in the middle of nowhere, I guess I should say, Rossburg, Ohio. Eldora, one of the fastest and most prestigious, really, places to win, now owned, of course, by Tony Stewart. This racetrack will see speeds here tonight in excess, I would say, of 120 miles an hour for these guys coming into the corners. Of course, the racetrack is slick. We've had a lot of laps already turned here in pre-race practice, of course, with 40 cars for half an hour of practice. A lot of laps being laid down. This racetrack has dried out pretty well, actually. It's going to be real slick around the top side of this racetrack, and we will see some considerably slower laps, of course, down into the 13.8 second range there. But we will see some considerably slower qualifying times. Of course, some of these guys still on the racetrack right now. We've got some 14.4s going on. So, a good half to 6/10 of a second there behind our quick pre-race guys. It is going to be a difficult race. I think 40 laps here it's a lot of laps here at Eldora, and this racetrack really takes some concentration to rip the lip right around the outside. The entry to the turn is going to be very, very crucial, and I was actually ghost driving out here a few moments ago in practice. Of course, I was well off the pace of these leaders, but even coming into the top of the corner was really difficult. You really had to thread the needle, so to speak, between the slickest part of the racetrack and the cushion. And one of the crazy things here about Eldora is the fact that the cushion, it really just builds up and almost leads you into the wall. So if you mess that entrance up, you're gonna hurt yourself. The late models can maybe take a little bit more abuse, but these sprint cars, really, you get in the wall one too many times and it can do some serious damage to the race car. I think Scott is over in the drivers meeting right now for the World of Thunder League.
Yes, sir, I'm here, Nick.
Hey, there he is. Scott, first of all, man, congrats on being second quick in pre-race practice, man. That's really impressive with some of these guys. How's it feel?
The track's slick, but it definitely feels good. My concern really is that I'm not going to qualify worth a crap.
I think with the amount of time that we've already seen leave the racetrack, of course, you had a 13.888 there in pre-race practice. That's second quick there behind Jeremy Zarfos. The racetrack is going to slick up considerably, Scott, and we talk a lot about the entrance to the corners. It's going to be live by the cushion, die by the cushion, I think, tonight.
Yeah, it's narrow up there too. I mean, you've got to be really willing to push the envelope and be consistent. I don't know. This is going to be crazy. I look at the practice time speeds and seeing me ahead of David Heilman and Jason Nygaard. The only thing I've ever beat those guys at is like first in the alphabetical order.
Yeah, David Heilman, we saw a really impressive run from David Thursday night in wingless 410s at Kokomo. David started, I think, dead last on the field or close to it, came up and won the thing. David Heilman with a great run last Thursday night, and he is always one to watch. Of course, was up there in the top of the point standings in the RaceOnTexas.com Sprint Car Series. Had some good runs there with us for the past 8 weeks. And Heilman definitely going to be one to watch as we're moving on into single car qualifying here in about 30 seconds there, Scott. Good luck to you, first of all. Hope to see you do well this evening. What's it going to take in qualifying to lay down a good run?
You're going to need to be smooth through the middle. I mean, I think the way to run it is the bottom let it drift to the middle, but I don't know. If I'm not in like the top 20 in qualifying, I'm probably just going to join you in the announcer's box.
Well, that would be nice. It'd be good to have somebody in the box with me. But again, I would love to see the old 100 machine parked in Victory Lane tonight. How good would that be?
Yeah, that'd be pretty amazing. But that's going to take a major stroke of luck.
Well, sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. Scott, looks like you need to get out there for some qualifying. Take a moment, lay down a good lap, brother, and good luck to you tonight.
Thanks, sir.
Well, once again, folks, I am monitoring the RaceOnTexas.com Facebook chat here. If you're watching, drop us a line. I see there Mr. Tony Fetters, one of my favorite camera people in the world of dirt track racing. Good to have you watching tonight, Mr. Fetters. Justin Hofstadt watching, as well as Kelly Collier. Hello, Mr. Kelly. How you doing this evening? Will Smith tuning in, pulling for Kevin Fry. Well, Kevin was about mid-pack there in pre-race practice, but if anybody can make some forward momentum and move on up through the field, it would definitely be Kevin. Kevin, of course, working with me at the Heart of Texas Speedway on Friday nights there just north of Waco, Texas. Kevin, one of the best flagmen I've ever had the privilege of working with. Right now, as the single car qualifying times start to click in here, ladies and gentlemen, it looks like Jason Nygaard quick right now with a 14.459. That just goes to show you how much time we lost from pre-race practice here to qualifying. Jason Nygaard, a 14.459. His best lap in pre-race practice was in the 13.8 range. So we have seriously, the track is slicked out. We've lost quite a bit of time. I agree, Mr. Kelly. We need to get racing. I am ready for it to pick up and get underway. Some more qualifying times here clicking in. Nygaard, of course, first quick right now. Braden Eiler, second quick by 19 one-thousandths of a second. Then it's Joshua Steinke at 14.490. David Heilman, fourth quick. John Batista, fifth quick. Scott Bargeloff right now timing in 11th quick with a 14.733. Looking at some of these other names in here, Scott's got nothing to be ashamed of. That is a really good time against a really stiff field of drivers. Of course, almost 40 cars, I believe it is. Actually, 28, 9, 31, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 40 cars exactly signed in for competition this evening. That is one of the largest single race fields I've ever seen. Of course, we're broadcasting here with a World of Thunder 360 sprint cars here at Eldora Speedway in Rossburg, Ohio. Of course, one of the quickest half-mile racetracks, I would say, anywhere in the country, with its steep banking all the way around this racetrack. You've really got to keep your foot in it and keep that car winged over all the way through the corners. It is a definite, it's a scary place to run, I would say, from time to time. Inches off the retaining wall, doing 130 miles an hour coming into the corners. It is pretty insane, the speed that you carry around this racetrack. So a big field of cars on hand this evening. I look for some great racing coming up in just a moment. Of course, once again, folks, we are broadcasting live in several places this evening, and if you are tuning in with us, I thank you so very much. I am, like I said, monitoring the RaceOnTexas.com Facebook page chat here. Tony, I think really it's gonna take some moving around. Of course, we saw I don't know if you were watching the super late model race just a moment ago. It ended up being pretty topside dominant. Of course, I think that's the way that Eldora goes most of the time. You just carry so much speed around the outside. But I think, Tony, if you can make the car work on the bottom of the racetrack and carry the speed through the corners, get a good drive up the racetrack, if you can make that happen, I think somebody stands to make some pretty good gains and make some pretty good forward progress here. Will Smith, that's pretty cool. Didn't realize that you were related there to Kevin. Of course, like I said, Kevin Fry, one of the best flagmen in the business, and I have the privilege and honor of working with him each and every Friday night at Heart of Texas Speedway there in just north of Waco. Of course, I'm here in Central Texas, right outside of Austin in Manor. Scott, of course, racing this evening from Corpus Christi, Texas, and Charles running the cameras for us, Mr. Charles Wooten with the Virtual Racing Network out of Wichita Falls. We're pretty much spread all over the place, but we love to get together on these Sunday nights, and it really has made my off-season go by great here this evening. Heat race number 1 has made its way to the grid. Your quick qualifier, Jason Nygaard in the WickedCushions.com Cognitive Warriors, back number 067, going to be on the inside of row number 1. John Batista to the outside in the BK Designs Black Diamond backed Ultimate Dirt TV sponsored number 035. He'll be outside of row number 1. Nathan Davis going to be inside that second row in the UDTV Black Diamond sponsored number 36 machine. The Flatline Graphics sponsored number 13 of DJ Kilanowski, who I believe is your point leader coming into action tonight, going to be outside the second row. Mason Hannigan in the RHR sponsored number 22 machine, going to be inside row number 3. He'll be alongside the 73 here. Let me get a better view on that car. That is Nicholas McGeethy in the 73 car. Brad Faria, Tyler Wagner, Steve McMillan, and Christopher Ike going to be rounding out the field. Should be 10 cars. Looks like we're missing 2 of those guys. So 8 cars going to be going 8 laps. The top 4 cars going to move on to tonight's 40-lap main event. Jason Nygaard, of course, your quick qualifier here.
And Nick, top 2 to the dash from each heat race.
Top 2 cars. Thank you, Scott. Forgot all about that. Some interesting format here with the World of Thunder, and I love it. So we're going to have a pre-race dash or pre-feature dash. Top 2 cars from this race. We'll move on into that, and we'll set up the top 8 starting spots from that dash a little later on this evening. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Looks like we're going to get a green this time off of turn number 4. Jason Nygaard going to lead him off the bottom of 4. A good start for the 067 machine. Nygaard going to lead the field into turn number 1. Nathan Davis on the bottom there, trying to get around the 35 of Batista. As we come into turn number 3, DJ Kilanowski, your point leader, working right now in the 4th and final transfer spot as we cross the start-finish line and complete lap number 1. Nygaard out in front, but just barely. Here comes Batista now on the bottom of the racetrack in turn number 3. Going to put a slide job on Jason Nygaard through the second set of corners, and Batista going to lead lap number 2 by 0.067 seconds. John Batista in the top spot. Batista going to open up the taps now on the BK Design sponsored number 35 machine and walk away from Jason Nygaard on lap number 2, adding 0.4 of a second to his lead. Some good racing going on behind your first and second place cars. We've got Jason Nygaard in the second spot. Nathan Davis right now running in the 3rd position. Actually, he's got around Jason Nygaard there. Nathan Davis up to 2nd. Good run for Davis there. Nygaard now having to deal with DJ Kilanowski for 3rd. Kilanowski to the bottom of the racetrack in 3 and 4. This old girl is slick around the top of this track. It takes surgical precision to get that big right rear planted on the cushion and make your way around the racetrack here. Some speeds of 100 miles an hour through the corners, ladies and gentlemen. These drivers doing 125 miles an hour coming into the first set of corners here. John Batista still out in front with 6 down and 2 to go.
And Nygaard banging that right rear off the wall. There's a very, very slim ledge up there where you've got to be almost perfect to hit it, and it will get you.
God, I really think that's going to be the key to success here this evening. Like I said, it's going to take scalpel surgical precision as we watch John Batista through the final set of corners. He'll take the win in heat race number 1. He'll go on to the dash. Nathan Davis will be 2nd, joining him in the dash. Jason Nygaard and your point leader, DJ Kilanowski, rounding out the top 4 transfers. Scott, talk to me a little bit about how narrow that entry point is there at the top of the corner.
It's definitely very narrow. I think the guy who is able to move their car in the middle of the racetrack, and there's a little bit of moisture there, and it's a nice smooth entry. If you can hit that perfect, it's almost the fastest line around this place.
But it's gonna take. It always takes a little bit more skill, I think, to drive your car right through the middle of the track. If you can make it work around the top, that's great. If you can make it work around the bottom, also great. But through the middle, I think you're right. There's not a lot of people that run that line. It's going to be difficult, but I think you're right, Scott. If you can get it done, keep your car nice and steady through the middle, that's going to be the way to go. Scott, we got heat race number 2 on the track right now. Who's going to be on that front row?
Let's see here, Nicholas. I don't have my timing and scoring up.
Well, what kind of announcer are you, Scott? I'll take over for you. You just go drive your fancy little race car.
Heat 4, baby. Starting 3rd.
Out inside the second row in the fourth heat, Scott. Good luck to you. Keep an eye on this race here with me. On the front row, ladies and gentlemen, going to be Braden Eiler in the Wicked Cushion sponsored number 05 machine. He'll be alongside Jeremy Zarfos, who was quickest in pre-race practice. Scott, you were right there behind him. Some good laps turned out of the 51 machine tonight.
Yeah, Zarfos is always strong. I'll be curious to see what he has coming off the top line. Braden Eiler, starting to his insides, always fast.
Yeah, Eiler going to be one to watch, I think. And we had a good start off the inside for Nygaard there, but he fell back a little bit. Let's see what Braden Eiler can do. The green flag going to come out this time around. Ernie Williams Jr., Josh Close, Taylor Howell, Jeremy Wallace, Cody Turchi, Katie Loudy, and John Johnson, the remainder of the field. We take the green flag. We're already into turn number 3. Look at this, Scott. Some interesting lines running here around the bottom to the middle of the track.
Yeah, if you can make that work, it feels great when you're in the car, when you can slide that thing across the bottom and up to the middle like Braden Eiler did right here. I just don't know how consistent you can stay. I definitely can't do that 25, 30 laps straight.
It's going to be, I think consistency really is the name of the game in just about any race we watch. But with these cars and the speeds that you're carrying, Scott, I mean, you're doing 130 miles an hour almost coming into the corner. And if you can control it and keep that pace, hitting those marks lap after lap after lap, that's going to be key to success here this evening. Scott, we've already got almost 4 laps complete here, working lap number 4 right now in heat race number 2. Braden Eiler still out in front. Jeremy Zarfos has a good run going here for second spot. Zarfos dealing with the 91 there of Ernie Williams Jr. for second and third there, Scott.
Yeah, and Williams is another one that he seems to be able to drive the car through the middle of the racetrack, and that's going to pay dividends for him.
Well, looks like Zarfos missed the entry there of turn 3. We've talked about it before. You jump the cushion, you get that right rear up too far, you smack the wall. It's going to slow you down. And Williams has run this entire lap around the bottom to the middle of the racetrack. Going to put a move on Zarfos for second, but here comes Jeremy to cross him right back up, Scott, going into 1.
Yeah, and that again is where the patience game comes into play, because you know that the top line is always going to get that run on you, but you're just hoping that he tags that wall just a little bit with the right rear to throw him off.
And another textbook slide job out of the 91 machines. We've got 7 laps complete for your leader, Braden Eiler. We're working the final one right here coming into turn number 3. The race is over. It'll be Eiler with the win. Looks like it may be Ernie Williams there for second spot. Jeremy Zarfos is third. No, excuse me, got that backwards. Zarfos did get back around for second. Williams was third, and Howell will go on into the main event as well. Heat race number 3. Already making its way to the grid. Scott, you're in heat race 4, inside second row. What do you think it's going to take from the inside this evening to get it done, get out to the front?
I'll just be happy if I don't crash out the whole field.
For somebody that was second quick in pre-race practice and qualified in the top 15, I think you're selling yourself a little bit short there. We've got third heat race rolling out to the racetrack right now. Joshua Steinke going to be on the front row inside in the 077. He'll be alongside Michael Sheridan in the 15. Craig Dunn going to be inside that second row there in the 057. He'll be alongside Brett Strickler in the 38. Kevin Fry, man in the stand most nights at Waco at Heart of Texas Speedway, going to be inside the third row in the 18. He'll be alongside Isaiah Dowd in the 2 car. Jimmy Mars going to be lining up inside row number 4 in the 070. We're looking for Britton Roxbury, Steve Castle, and Ross Fallon to join the field as well. I don't think that they're going to make the call, so we looking like we're going to have 7 cars here in heat race number 3 going for 8 laps once again.
I got my eye on Craig Dunn in this race, starting inside row 2. He was really fast in practice, and I've raced with him a lot in official races, and he's always solid.
Well, be good to watch. Be good to see Craig come from the inside of that second row. Of course, we've talked about it before. you're just going to have to make your way out into the front as quickly as possible and get a good jump off the inside of this track to get up there and to make forward progress, I think, is the name of the game this evening. You got to go quick, fast, and in a hurry. 8 laps in a 360 sprint car here at Eldora. Does not take long, Scott. We get the green flag, and Steinke out to the front in the 077, but here comes Sheridan in the 15 car on the bottom of turn number 3.
Yeah, trading lines there. That's interesting.
So early on in the race to be running on the bottom of the track, you gotta have confidence in your ability to make a good run on the bottom of the track and get up and get around the leaders. As Steinke, they're coming in maybe a lane and a half off the bottom, and Scott, like you talked about earlier, just letting the car drift up to the wall. Do you feel like that kills the momentum of this race car, or does it really help you get a little bit of side bite there and make forward movement?
I don't know if it kills the momentum, but you definitely feel it when you're trying to run somebody down and you make that move, because it feels like you lose time. It takes, again, a lot of bravery to continue on that line. I want to go right to the top because I know that's where it's going to be fast, but a lot of times the race doesn't dictate that to you.
And I'm watching the leader once again, Steinke here in the 077. Scott, if you're looking at his line, we're going down the backstretch. Watch him coming into 3 here. All the way to the very bottom of the racetrack, just about. It drives all the way up the track. He doesn't really sound to be losing a lot of RPMs, and it doesn't seem to kill speed. We've got 5 laps complete here, working lap number 6 right now. Steinke is in the lead. Sheridan in second, Craig Dunn third, Brett Strickler right now, your 4th and final transfer spot. And, watching the car through the corners, Steinke doing 117 miles an hour down the straightaway into the corner. And as we come into turn 3 here, down to the bottom, 134 miles an hour, Scott, and slows the car down quite a bit right through the middle of the racetrack, all the way down into the 90 mile an hour range. So a lot of speed change here through the racetrack, Scott.
Yeah, and he's done a good job of keeping it off the wall in 1 and 2, and then in 3 and 4 he drifts bottled to the middle, and that's the preferred line when you can run it, and definitely the fastest way around right now.
Steinke going to get the win here as heat race number 3 comes to a close. Best lap of 14.516, Scott, and as much as this racetrack is slicked off, I think that's pretty respectable.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, sir, I know your heat race is up. Good luck to you starting inside the second row, Scott. Keep it in the top 4, brother. Get into that main event.
We'll see what happens. Thanks, Nick.
Ladies and gentlemen, there's Mr. Scott Bargeloff driving the 100 machine this evening, going to start inside the second row in this 4th and final heat. He has got some heavy hitters in this one with him. On the front row inside, he was your winner in last Thursday night Midnight Madness, with Team VLR. That's David Heilman in the 040. The factory Casey Kane racer now with the esports team. Heilman going to be driving the 040 Napa machine this evening on the inside of row number 1. Another familiar name if you've been watching any of the Team VLR stuff that Race on Texas and the Virtual Racing Network have been bringing to you on Thursdays and Sundays. Mr. Skyler Brown in the 28 machine going to be outside that front row. Inside row number 2, there is Scott Bargeloff and the Howard Stern paint scheme, the Howard 100 and 101 sponsored machine there. The 100 machine inside row number 2 will be alongside the 21 of David Clark. Derek Hartengale going to be inside row number 3 in the 14. He'll be alongside the 191 of Cole Huggins. We're missing 2 cars once again, so that's going to give us Darren Clark inside the 4th row in the 20 car, and Charles Boggs will be to the outside in the 03. 8 cars the field, 8 laps the distance. Top 4 going to go on to the main event this evening. Top 2 going to make it into that dash that will determine the top 8 positions. The green flag going to come out. We are underway here with heat race number 4. David Heilman going to lead him into turn number 1, right around the bottom of the racetrack. That is a very interesting line. Heilman once again towards the bottom of the track through the middle of turns 3 and 4. He's going to lead lap number 1. Skyler Brown there in second spot. Scott Bargeloff is 4th now. David Clark getting around for 3rd. Bargeloff in that 4th and final transfer spot could stand to make a move. Here he comes for 3rd spot. Bargeloff going to get around Clark there and take over the 3rd spot off of turn number 4. Scott Bargloff about 0.6 of a second behind second spot Skylar Brown. Brown about almost 0.3 behind your leader David Heilman. Heilman with a good run so far in the Napa 040 machine. Of course, the one of the 4 factory Casey Kane Esports drivers. He, along with Britton Roxbury, Chris Brenner, making up 3 of those guys in the brand new factory Casey Kane Esports team. And Heilman right now out in front, 4 laps down, 4 laps to go. We're going to be 5 and 3 this time past the stripe. Scott Bargloff still in the 3rd spot, but is well behind the top 2 right now. Skylar Brown and David Heilman with a good run going. Heilman with a 0.7 of a second lead over Skylar Brown. Scott Bargloff about 2.5 seconds back behind these top 2 cars. Still, nonetheless, the transfer spot into the main event. Heilman, once again, right down to the very bottom of the racetrack, around the inside of turns 1 and 2. I see Elena Moisture down there around the wall, but I got to tell you, it is a scary prospect to be close to either of these concrete walls as we get the white flag, 1 lap to go here in heat race number 4. Chris David tuning in this evening. Good to have you with us, Mr. Chris. Sean Klein watching as well. Thanks so much for tuning in this evening, Klein. Sean, we sure do appreciate it. David Heilman getting the win here in heat race number 4. Says earlier that he's glad Scott is in the race here to take out his competition. So Heilman going to get the win. Good job to David. Scott Bargloff grabbing 3rd position there, so he transfers into the main event this evening.
It was slick out there, Nicholas.
Scott, good run, though, brother. Good job transferring directly into the main event. That should put you, let's see here, my math, should put you about 12th to start on the field.
That's great. Yeah, no, the racetrack was really slick. David got a good jump on the start, and then he was able to run the car a lot higher line than I felt comfortable with. So I was lucky. I don't know what was going on behind me, but I felt lucky when I didn't see any pressure coming from me for 3rd. So I just kind of cruised around at that point.
Absolutely. Kind of a distant, but definitely a comfortable 3rd. Had plenty of room in front of you, plenty of room behind you. Scott, good to see you transferring directly into the main event. I tell you what, with some of the heavy hitters in this field, that's got to make you feel good, really. It's got to be a good confidence boost.
I mean, I got to give a lot of thanks to the guys that have helped me with setup. I mean, really, that's the difference between me being 40th and me being 12th.
Well, Scott, we're moving on into our C main here, and I got to say, this is my first race that we've done on a Sunday night here that's required a C main. 40 cars making it into the show or signing up for the show this evening. What do you think it's going to take? Is it possible for someone to run this C main and make it into the B there or the A there, Scott?
I mean, you're going to need a lot of luck, really. Like when you start in the back of the B, that's where it's going to get dicey. But the track's so slick. Who knows? One mistake and you could take out 6 cars.
Well, it looks like we're missing several the cars that were supposed to start here, so all of these guys looks like they're going to all transfer into the B main. I'm only seeing 4 cars on the racetrack right now. Scott, Nicholas McGeethy in the 17 there, John Johnson in the 10 or the 73, excuse me, for McGeethy. John Johnson in the 10 car. Derek Hartingale in the 14, and Katie Loudy there in the 26. So these drivers are going to race around the track here for 12 laps. Looks like they're all going to make it into the B main here, and then, Scott, they'll have another chance to race into the A this evening. We get a green flag here, and McGeethy with a great jump off the inside of row number 1. The Top Gun Motorsport sponsor number 73 leads the field into turn number 3. There's that real narrow entryway that Scott was talking about. You really want to get that right rear up on the berm, but don't drive over it, and that is really difficult to do. I don't know if most of you know what it's like to look at the view from the inside of one of these cars, but you don't see much except what's directly in front of you. It is really difficult to gauge where that right rear is going to go, as we see McGeethy working towards the bottom of the track here in turns 1 and 2, trying to feel this thing out, maybe figure out what the car's going to do come feature time.
And the bottom of 3 and 4 is great. It's that entrance to 1 and 2 where you're putting your fate in your own hands with that, because you overrun that just a touch and you're going to eat the wall.
Yeah, and the shape of turns 1 and 2, Scott, is a little bit different than 3 and 4. More of an arc, I think.
Yeah, and when there's some moisture in the middle of that turn, it's really easy to run. But when it's like it is right now, it's for the faint of heart.
Well, and I'm watching these guys, like you said, I was seeing a few in the heat races a little bit earlier too, especially David Heilman, running right down around the wall, really, in turns 3 and 4, right around the bottom of the racetrack. Is there a good line of moisture down there still?
Yeah, it's nice, it's smooth, and it's consistent down there. It doesn't make the car step out. Now I see the leader trying the bottom in 1 and 2. It feels totally different on that end of the racetrack.
And I mean, I think maybe that's got something to do with the shape of this track. Because if you look at the track map, of course, the front straightaway is a little bit wider, and the backstretch here at Eldora is actually almost like a D shape. We've got a couple of tracks in the service that are like that, but here at Eldora, I think it's a little bit more a slight D shape. But if you look at 1 and 2, there's a really defined apex of the corner there. You can really maybe stick it to the wall a little bit better in 3 and 4. 1 and 2 has a different angle to it. It really tries to push the car up the racetrack.
Yeah, definitely, Nick. And the line that Nicholas is running right now, like it looks really smooth and fun. It's just not so simple when there's a car either to your outside or you're running up behind one.
Absolutely. The closing speeds on this racetrack sometimes can be pretty significant. So, like you said, these guys just kind of getting a little hot lap session right now. They got plenty of room on the racetrack. They're all going to go on into the B main. They're probably just trying to feel out what these cars are going to do, decide if there's any setup changes they need to make, and then go from there. You see McGeethy right now, Nicholas McGeethy, your leader, has been all over the track, Scott. He's running the top right now. He's been down to the bottom. He's driven through the middle. And I think really he's just trying to figure out where the car's good and where he can improve.
Yeah, and getting a feel for these cars on a little bit more of a full fuel load is always a benefit. I'm kind of kicking around that idea myself with 40 laps in the feature, where how many gallons, and kind of knowing what's going to occur when you have a full fuel load.
Well, not only is 40 laps a lot of laps for these sprint cars, it's a big racetrack. It's not, it's not Lima Land or Kokomo. It's not one of the smaller bull rings. It's a big sweeping half-mile racetrack. So you're gonna use a lot of fuel tonight, and it's like you said, how much do you want to be safe, or do you want to be fast? I think is where it's gonna be tonight.
Yeah, and sometimes on a track this slick, the fuel load can be a little bit of a benefit. But boy, if you stand on the gas at the end of that first straightaway and aren't thinking about that fuel load, it reminds you it's there really quick.
Well, Scott, we got the B main on the grid here, going to be getting ready to roll out onto the racetrack on the pole in the 2027 machine. Gonna be Brad Faria, I think. Brad gonna be on the inside of that front row. He'll be next to the 7 car of Josh Close. Second row on the inside, the 18, gonna be Mr. Kevin Fry this evening. Kevin gonna be alongside the 20 car of Darren Clark. Mason Hannigan going to be inside of row number 3 in the 22. He'll be alongside the 00 of Jeremy Wallace. Isaiah Dowd in the 7 car. Going to be inside of row 4, the 2 car going to be inside row 4, and he'll be alongside the 191 of Cole Huggins. Tyler Wagener going to be inside of row number 5 in the 121. He'll be alongside the 09 of Cody Turchi. Jimmy Mars, next row back, the inside of row number 6 in the 070. He'll be alongside Charles Boggs, in the 03. And 13th position inside of row number 7, there's your C main winner, Nicholas McGeethy in the 73. He'll be alongside John Johnson in the 10. And Derek Hartingale going to be making up the 8th row. He'll be all by himself. Shotgun on the tail end of the field. Scott, these guys are going to get another look at this racetrack here before we go into the main event. Do you think it helps you learn about how the track is changing to run these extra races?
Oh, for sure. I want as many laps as I can get.
Well, we get a green flag here, ladies and gentlemen. You heard it from a guy that doesn't get many laps on the racetrack tonight, making his way directly into the A main. Scott wishing maybe he had a little bit more time. Look at Kevin Fry there, Scott. A good run for the 18 machine.
Yeah, and he's sort of the beneficiary of that staying on the low line because, like I said, early in the run, man, these cars are wicked on you.
And just as we say something good about him, Kevin going to lose a couple spots there, it looks like. Let's see here. Who is out in front at the moment? It looks like it's the 27 of Brad Faria. He's going to be out in front now as Fry slips back to 5th spot on the bottom of the racetrack. You think maybe it's the fuel load or just the car stepping out a little bit on the bottom there, Scott?
I think it's a combination of both. The fuel load definitely plays into it, and also the slickness of the racetrack. One mistake, if you can't correct it quick, it leads to multiple problems.
And the thing you don't want to... Oh, we got some action here up front. The leaders getting together. A couple of cars making contact there on the front, out in the front of the pack. I think one thing... And look at this, Nicholas McGeethy from the C main is up to the front, Scott, and is leading the B main. That's a heck of a run for the 73 car from the back of the pack up to first in 5 laps. But back to what I was saying, Scott, one of the things you don't want to do behind the wheel of really any dirt car, but especially one of these wing sprint cars, is just yank on the wheel in kind of like a knee-jerk fashion. You've really got to be deliberate and I would say smooth with your steering input here.
Oh, for sure. You use the right pedal, the throttle pedal, as much as you do the steering wheel.
The big wing helps keep the car planted on the racetrack, ladies and gentlemen, and Scott's exactly right. We've got 2 cars upside down the front stretch. I don't think we're going to get a yellow. It looks like we're staying green here. But it is definitely something that you drive more with your right foot than just about anything else. That throttle input can help you turn the car, can help you slow the car. It really helps you drive these cars a lot with that right foot. As we watch McGeethy with another, I'm telling you, a great run from the back of this B main all the way up to the top spot. 12 laps distance, Scott. We are working lap number 10 right now. McGeethy, Close, Hannigan, and Dowd, your top 4 transfers.
And how about that Hannigan, man? You talk about somebody that's family has a lot of laps around the real Eldora Speedway. Randy Hannigan, one of the best.
Absolutely. Randy Hannigan, a fantastic sprint car driver in his own right, has been a competitor with the World of Outlaws for quite some time. Good to have some names like that, man, out here racing with us with the World of Thunder Wing 360 sprint cars. Scott, we're winding down here in the B main. If you're Nicholas McGeethy and you're racing in from this B main, you're going to start 17th. Do you think you got a shot at making it up towards the front?
Yeah, I think everybody has a shot who can keep their nose clean.
Well, it's going to be real interesting, I think, as McGeethy doing some celebratory donuts there. We're going to get ready for our dash here in just a moment, ladies and gentlemen, with the World of Thunder Wing 360 sprint cars. And Scott, tell me what you think about maybe seeing a little bit more realistic format from this World of Thunder League. I like the idea of having a pole dash.
Yeah, I absolutely do. It gives everybody who's top 2 in the heat race a chance to really, really stand on it.
I think it's going to be interesting to see these guys. Of course, you know, Scott, like you said, these are top 2 from the heat races, so they're the 8 fastest cars that we've had so far this evening. But they haven't seen the racetrack in quite some time, Scott. Do you think that they're going to be at a bit of a disadvantage, or can you pretty well gauge how these racetracks are going to change?
Yeah, I think you're watching the other heats when you're not in the race and kind of trying to figure out what's happening with the racetrack and then adjusting your driving style accordingly.
Well, I think it's going to be fun to watch. The last one, we weren't really aware it was going to happen. It was pretty interesting. I liked it. I'm excited to see what happens here with some of the, like I said, the 8 fastest cars that we've had this evening. They are on the racetrack right now, ladies and gentlemen, getting lined up for their dash here, and this will decide the first 4 rows of the main event this evening. Of course, John Batista going to be on the inside of that front row alongside Braden Eiler there in the 05 machine. The 077 of Joshua Steinke going to be inside row number 2. He'll be alongside David Heilman in the 040. Next row back on the inside, the 15 car there. Actually, it's the 36, excuse me. 36 is Nathan Davis. Davis alongside the 51 of Jeremy Zarfos. Looks like Skylar Brown and the 15 of Michael Sheridan. Your fourth and final row. The green flag is out, Scott. We're underway for the pole dash here. Now this one,
Batista got a great start.
Yeah, Batista with a fantastic start there off the inside of row number 1. Now, Scott, this one, you're already in the race, and you know that. But if you're somebody like David Heilman, who started, fourth in this race, you want to race your way up to the front, get that good starting spot, because like you said, starting position is key in these races. It's short. You don't want to take the other guy out, so you're both starting 7th and 8th, but you really want to race hard in these laps.
Yeah, and the further up you start, the less chaos you're going to see when the green flag drops in the A main.
Absolutely. Right now, Batista, with the potential of seeing the least amount of chaos in front of him, working the top side of this racetrack all the way around, has got the 35 machine dialed in. His best lap's got a 14.730. Now, that's about a second off of where we were in pre-race practice, but still some consistent laps for the 35 machine this evening.
Yeah, it's a testament, because these guys are driving these cars straight, and nobody that I've seen has hit the wall with the outside tire, and that's impressive.
Yeah, these guys are exactly right. The cars are straight. There's not a whole lot of steering wheel input, a very calm and collected cockpit here, and they are keeping it off the concrete. And, those are all of the keys to success, I would say, here at Eldora. Now, we've got a new fastest lap that belongs to Braden Eiler in the 05 machine, but it's too little too late, as John Batista going to get the win. Braden Eiler will start outside the front row. David Heilman, Scott, inside row number 2 this evening in the 040 machine. What do you think Heilman's chances are from the inside of the second row?
I mean, anything can happen, Nick. He's good enough to where he can win this race from about anywhere, as he proved Sunday night, or Thursday night during Midnight Madness. But again, this is anybody's race in this top 6 or 8.
Well, Scott, you're going to be gridding up here in just a moment. I think, like I said, with my math, you'll be starting 12th there outside of row number 6. Good luck to you, sir, and keep a rubber down, will you?
Yeah, thanks. I hope to maybe give everybody a show. If not, I hope to keep myself out of trouble.
Well, Scott, good luck to you. You're definitely better than I would be. I don't think I'd be making this show tonight. So good job to you for racing into this deal. Good luck to you out there on the racetrack. Ladies and gentlemen, we are getting ready for 40 green flag laps here at the house that Earl built, Eldora Speedway in Rossburg, Ohio. My normal announcing compatriot, Mr. Scott Bargeloff, going to be making his way to the grid. He'll be starting in 12th position this evening. We are going to get all the cars out there on the racetrack, and then something else that I am both surprised and incredibly pleased to see in an iRace here. You're going to see a 4-wide salute to the fans, I do believe. It was really impressive to see that just a moment ago in the super late model race here at Eldora. I hope that it happens here. I don't want to speak too soon, but I really hope that it happens here in this sprint car main event.
Yeah, Nick, when they went over the procedures in the drivers meeting for the 3-wide salute, the starting in row 6 is where we make the move to the inside line. So let's hope I don't screw this up too.
Couple extra things to remember here this evening other than go fast and turn left. So good luck once again, Scott. I'm glad to see you in the race. Hope that everything goes well for you. 20 cars this evening, ladies and gentlemen, getting ready to take the green flag here at Eldora Speedway. John Batista going to be on the inside of the front row, and Braden Eiler going to be there on the outside in the 05 machine. Once again, 40 laps, the distance this evening for the main event.
Real quick here, breaking in from the studio here for you, Nick. I saw we had some people talking about how to get into iRacing. So we wanted to break in real fast over to Start Racing. If you do message the VRN Facebook page, if you're a new member, we have our hands on some 3-month codes to get you started. So anyone looking to get into iRacing, hit us up and we can get you some of those codes.
Oh, excellent, Charles. Thanks so much. And you heard it there, ladies and gentlemen. If you're looking to get into iRacing, it is a PC game. It is subscription based. You go to iRacing.com there. You can register for a 1 month or 3 month or 1 year or 2 year subscription. Prices vary depending on your amount of time. And as Charles said, if you're a new subscriber there or follower of the VRN Facebook page, he's got a hold of some 3-month subscription codes. So hit Charles up if you're interested in joining. Once again, PC, no consoles, and I don't think that it'll ever be on console. This is just an incredible simulation here. Very realistic. The cars handle. I would say it's a good approximation of what it's actually like to be out there on the racetrack. What we're doing here now, folks, we're just getting the guys, the drivers here in their correct starting order from the dash, and then we're going to go 4 wide here around the racetrack for you, the race fans, tuning in this evening at several different locations. Race on Texas Facebook page, the VRN Facebook page, the VRN YouTube channel, the World of Dirt Facebook page, I do believe. A lot of places for you to grab this, for you to view this action here this evening. 40 laps from Wing 360 Sprint Cars getting ready to come to you. Ladies and gentlemen, they are coming through turn number 3. If you're at home, I know they can't hear you, but I hope you're clapping anyway. Good show here for the 360 Wing Sprint Cars at Eldora Speedway. The World of Thunder Wing 360s coming around 4 wide for you, the fans. All right, folks, they are back double file, getting ready to go green flag here. John Batista on the inside of row number 1, going to be starting alongside Braden Eiler in the 05 machine. David Heilman inside that second row there in the 040. He is alongside Joshua Steinke in the 077. Skylar Brown, Nathan Davis, row 3. Michael Sheridan, Jeremy Zarfos, row 4. Jason Nygaard, Ernie Williams Jr., row 5. Brett Strickler and Scott Bargeloff, row 6. Craig Dunn, Taylor Howell, row 7. David Clark, Nicholas McGeethy, row number 8. Josh Close, Mason Hannigan, row number 9. And DJ Kilinowski along with Isaiah Brown, row 10. We are green at Eldora. And Batista immediately to the top side of the racetrack through turns 1 and 2. He'll have the lead down the backstretch into 3. Look at Eiler on the inside of turn number 3. Gonna put a slide job on Batista for the lead. Here comes Batista back on the inside. John Batista, your leader. No, excuse me, Braden Eiler, your leader at the stripe by 11 one-thousandths of a second. He and Batista once again wheel to wheel down the backstretch into turn number 3. Eiler still your leader, lap number 2 in the books, ladies and gentlemen. 38 laps to go. Your leader's right around the outside, ripping the lip of Eldora Speedway here in Rossburg, Ohio, as Batista now dives to the bottom of turn number 3. Braden Eiler going to cross him right back up on the outside. We've got a car stopped in the middle of the straightaway. A car stopped in the middle of the front stretch there, and that is certainly going to make your butt pucker if you're Braden Eiler or John Batista.
Ooh, Nick, it's slick out there.
Yeah, I was just about to check in with you there, Scotty B. Looks like Scott Bargeloff slipping back to about 18th on the racetrack. Scott, how slick is slick, man?
It's slick enough to where if you're trying to go full throttle, you're going to make a wrong direction turn.
So what you're telling me tonight is throttle control, throttle control, throttle control.
Yeah, not my specialty.
Well, Scott, once again, man, like I said, making the show an achievement in itself. I'm proud of you for sure. I wouldn't be here in this race if I were trying this evening. So, Braden Eiler out in front right now, ladies and gentlemen. John Batista in second spot. Steinke there in the 077 in third. David Heilman right now in fourth. Nathan Davis rounding out the top 5. Skylar Brown in sixth. Jeremy Zarfos is seventh. Michael Sheridan in the 8th spot. Jason Nygaard in 9th. And how about Nicholas McGeethy? Nicholas started in the C main, won that one, then started in the back of the B main and won that one. So Nicholas started 17th on the feature this evening and is already up to 10th. I would say that he is the man on the move, our hard charger at this point. We are, yes. So I'm hearing from race control folks that the car that was stopped on the front stretch, and I'm not sure who that was. I'm not sure who it was, but whoever it was stopped on the front stretch on purpose to bring out that caution flag intentionally. So there may be some punishments or some penalties handed out because of that. Nonetheless, we go back green flag racing. It was a single file restart. Braden Eiler is your leader, and he's got Batista hot on his heels in the 35 machine. Those two right around the outside of this racetrack. It is a very, very thin line around the outside of Eldora. The cushion is very steep. That berm is right up alongside the wall. We're throwing bows already here. We're approaching the halfway point probably in this feature, but it is Slide Job City out in front right now with Batista and Eiler. Trading blows already in this race. David Heilman as well in the mix in the 040 machine right now in the 4th spot in the Napa-sponsored 040 car. He's doing battle with Joshua Steinke in the 077. Batista back out in front in the 35 as he gets back around Braden Eiler to take the top spot off of turn number 4. 10 laps down, 30 laps to go. That time by, ladies and gentlemen, John Batista out in front by 0.2 of a second over Braden Eiler. 11 laps complete. That time past the stripe. We've got some good racing going on for 4th position. David Heilman and Joshua Steinke are trading slide chops left and right there, trying to make their way and hold on to that podium position. It was Heilman that time by the stripe, but he is 1.3 seconds behind our leader. John Batista right now out in front of this World of Thunder 360 sprint car main event here at Eldora Speedway. I tell you what, ladies and gentlemen, I am very, very, very impressed with the car control in the BK Designs Black Diamond sponsored number 35 machine right on the edge. It is live and die by the cushion here this evening, and Batista making it happen around the outside. A 14.9 second lap around the outside, and with the speed that we've lost, we get a caution flag. Skylar Brown upside down, looks like in the 28 machine. Brown now on pit road, going to bring us our second caution of the night. Second caution of the night on the racetrack right now, ladies and gentlemen. Scott Bargeloff, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, sir, still on the lead lap. How's that feel?
I don't feel fantastic. I wish I could move my wing back about 12 feet behind the race car right now.
I guess the key is trying to get all that downforce to the back end of this race car.
Yeah, that's definitely the key. I'm turning laps like in the 16-second bracket. So when you said he turned to 14.9, I was ready to just go pit side.
Well, actually, the best lap of the race right now belongs to David Heilman, 14.887. Heilman right now sitting in the 3rd spot. Scott, I show you in 18th, so still on the lead lap, my friend. Keep it up.
Yeah, those cautions are helping that.
We are right now working our second caution, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, if you're tuning in this evening at one of our many streaming locations, I thank you very much for supporting the World of Thunder Racing League here on this Sunday evening. Of course, if you haven't said it in a while, my name is Nick Robbins. I'm calling the action this evening. My normal announcing compatriot, Mr. Scott Bargeloff, out on the racetrack right now, sitting in 18th position. And it is... let's see, I think we're about halfway through this race this evening. Once again, World of Thunder, winged 360 sprint cars. We're going back green out of turn number 4. John Batista leads him to it, a 14.943, his best lap so far. Batista leads the field through turns 3 and 4. Going to complete one more lap. It looks like Braden Eiler still in 2nd spot. David Heilman still there in third. Nathan Davis, a good run for the 36 machine. Up to fourth spot. Joshua Steinke slips back to fifth. Here comes Heilman on the bottom of the racetrack into turn number 3. Going to put a slide job on Braden Eiler. He'll take over the second spot. Heilman to the runner-up position. Eiler back to third. Braden Eiler now throwing a slide job through turns 1 and 2. Heilman crosses him right back up. Here we come into turn number 3. Throttle control of utmost importance here in the Wing 360s tonight. Braden Eiler and David Heilman putting on a fantastic battle for the runner-up spot, but I tell you what, that is letting John Batista pull further and further away. 0.7 of a second over second spot, that time by the stripe.
Yeah, this is pretty remarkable to watch, Nick. I took a pit side because it's past my talent level.
God, I'm still impressed. You made the show this evening. It's a testament to your skill behind the wheel. Congrats on doing so. And also, it's good to know your limits. It's good to know your lane. It's a good decision to pull it in the infield and not try to mess up somebody else's race this evening. And we got another yellow on the track. Scott, this time it's for 8th place Jason Nygaard. So one more caution coming out to the racetrack, ladies and gentlemen.
Looks like Nygaard just found the concrete wall in 1 and 2 there and had nowhere to go.
Well, that's all it takes. That is absolutely all it takes. The concrete going to win every time there, Scott. Tough break for Nygaard. He was really quick in pre-race practice this evening, and if I'm not mistaken, was up near the top of the qualifying standings.
Yeah, Jason's fast wherever he goes.
Well, folks, we are working our third caution flag right now. Your leader, Scott, how about this run from Batista? I've never seen him run before in any of these iRacing, the races that we've televised, but he's been the class of this act tonight, man.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive to watch him up on the top side like that.
Batista not been afraid to rip the lip around here at Eldora Speedway, has been right on the edge. And Scott, I don't know if you've been watching from what view you're looking from, but you can see the berm has really built right up to the wall. A little bit earlier there was a wider cushion. You could run maybe a lane off the wall, but right now, Scott, especially coming in, man, it is right up around the concrete this evening.
Yeah, and it's hard to keep it up there too. Even in the official races, there's a nice, almost a groove up there, but right now this thing it's a monster that will swallow you up.
And as you look, we roll through here through turns 3 and 4, ladies and gentlemen. We talk about the groove being right up against the wall. Look at the rest of this racetrack, Scott. It is black and slick. As we get a green off of 4, you see the drivers diving down to the bottom. What's Batista going to do? Here we go, right around the outside in turn 1. What a slider there. That was almost bad from Braden Eiler, Scott. And then here comes David Heilman getting around for second.
Yeah, if Heilman can keep running this line that he's on and get to the back door of Batista, he has something for him. But again, getting there and making the move is two totally different things.
Yeah, we've talked about that several times before, and you're exactly right. Catching somebody is one thing, passing them is another. I will say, though, Heilman, the fastest car on the racetrack there, Scott, 14.887 is best lap. That last lap of 15.052, second quick right now, that last go around.
Yeah, he's definitely making the car work. I'm impressed with what I'm seeing. Both those guys, Batista and Heilman, are on another level right now.
Yeah, Heilman, that time the only car on the track in the 14-second bracket, a 14.998 from the man in second spot. The laps are ticking away here, Scott. I would think it's safe to say that Heilman has the speed. He's just got to find an opportunity. Right now, John Batista running a flawless race and is not giving Heilman any opportunities.
And Heilman moving to the bottom to try that slider. Let's see if this sticks, Nick.
Crosses him right back up. What a move out of Batista, Scott. I'm getting word from race control, 8 laps to go that time by.
And Heilman, he'll continue another lap or so on this top line and build that momentum up and try that same move once again. Oh, and the caution's out.
We've got a yellow flag. Looks like it's for David Clark in the 21 machine. Now, Scott, you just before we got the yellow here, you were talking about running a lap, running a line for 1 or 2 laps, build that momentum up, and then take your shot. Do you think Heilman's going to have another opportunity?
Well, I think he's definitely going to make that slider move now. When Batista crosses him back over, that's when, all bets are off. Listen, the car, once you've crossed somebody back over, that's when you have to really control that top line. And if Batista can find something in the middle, I mean, it'll get interesting for him and Heilman, and open the door for Braden Eiler. So it'll be interesting to see what we got on a restart here.
Well, we had 8 laps to go about 1 lap ago, so we probably had 7 to go when the yellow came out, Scott. If I'm guessing right, we're going to have like 2 or 3 laps to go when we go back green. What's it going to... I mean, Heilman's going to have 1 shot, if I'm guessing right.
Yeah, and I would assume that shot, he'll take that shot in turn 1. I'm not sure that you're going to want to go and try to throw that slider in 3 and 4, just because the drive off on the bottom is good on the front stretch. So, but who knows? Again, David may have something up his sleeve or not. So,
and if you're Braden Eiler right now, you're sitting third, and you're probably trying to calculate how many laps this caution is going to last. How many laps we're going to have left once it goes green one more time. What do you do if you're Braden Eiler? Do you just you sit in third and think, well, this is where I'm at, I don't want to wreck anybody else, or you going for the win?
He's going for the win, and he's going to watch that low line, because if those two do get side by side, that's going to be where the door is opened at.
Well, Scott, looks like the green flag coming back out this time around. Batista back on the pedal. We've got 4 laps to go, Scott, and a great restart for Batista off the front.
Yeah, he did what he needed to do there, Nick. Now, Heilman will get his momentum built up here over the next lap or so, and I'm sure he's going to have something for him before this is over.
Look at the gap that Batista has already opened up there, Scott, with 1 lap. We got 3 laps left to go now. Oh, and another yellow, Scott. I think, unfortunately, that one might seal it up right there.
Yeah, I think that will. Braden Eiler just got into the wall a little bit there. It's just so easy on these starts, especially when you feel like you've got what it takes to go forward. The wheels break loose, and next thing you know, you're in the fence.
Yep, absolutely, and it is incredibly easy to do that. Like you said, Scott, they're running just like that fine line between the wall. There's no gray area here. You're either okay or you're in the air because you're upside down. And like you said, those tires break loose. The car drifts up to the wall. There's not really anything you can do about that.
Yeah, there's really not. This is where you really marvel at the talent level of a Jack Haudenchild for all those years who would come from deep in the field to win races on this type of a surface at Eldora.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. That is definitely something to always remember. As much as we talk about this racetrack being difficult in iRacing, in real life, you're doing 145 miles an hour or so down the back straightaway at this place, and you got to keep it right around the wall, and you got to keep your foot in it. Ladies and gentlemen, the race is going to come to a close. Unfortunately, the World of Thunder 360 Wing Sprint Car race will end under caution this evening. It is going to be John Batista getting the win, Joshua Steinke in second, and Jeremy Zarfos going to end up rounding out the podium. Scott, once again, congrats making the show this evening. Good showing out here for you tonight. You got to be excited about what you did this evening.
I mean, it was fun to do. I'm just lucky because I have the benefit of some good guys who give me a lot of information to make the car setups right. But again, it really, you realize how good a lot of these guys are when you get into one of these shows.
Well, folks, that's going to do it for us here in the broadcast booth. I'm going to throw it back to the studio, and Mr. Charles Wooten going to handle your post-race interviews. Once again, for those of you that have tuned in, as far as Scott and I are concerned, thank you so much for watching this evening from wherever it is that you may be watching Race on Texas Facebook, the Virtual Racing Network Facebook, or YouTube, the World of Derek Facebook page. Thank you so much for watching, and we hope to see you back real soon.
All right, again, just like the last time, if you were tuned in for the Super Late Model Race, give us just a moment. We are going to be right back as we're going to round up our top 3 drivers here in the studio, and we will be talking to those to see exactly how this race went down for them. And surprised that David Heilemann was not in there. He was second, but then drove it into the wall and gave up the position. So we'll be talking to our top 3, so give us just a moment, and we'll be right back.
Ryan Luza. Eldora is a four-time champion of the NASCAR Beginner Freeze iRacing Series.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back here, back in the studio with our top three drivers here for the final time tonight. We just got done watching some 360 racing here for the World of Thunder at Eldora Speedway. So a lot of great racing going on, but let's jump right into it here as we're going to talk to our top three drivers. Getting a third place here tonight is going to be the 51 of Jeremy Azarfos. So, just an outstanding run here for everybody, including yourself. So just give us a short rundown of what this track was like here tonight. It didn't look too terribly rough out there from what we saw, but again, we're up in the studio here. It's a little different picture. So what was the track like out there for you?
Well, first I'll say I'm probably in here because Braden didn't finish the race and David exited there, so I was probably a fifth or sixth place car, so I'll take it for Team SETI. But it was narrow. I mean, the cushion was obviously Eldora cushion, so if you get too close and jump over it, you're in the wall. Skylar did it, Michael did it, and it's kind of unfortunately the way this track is. You're just kind of waiting for the guy in front of you to make a mistake, and then you pounce.
Well, definitely. You put yourself in that position to capitalize off of whatever. We're not sure what David was doing there when he just drove it into the wall there at the end of the race. But no, it was still an amazing race out there. This track seemed to black off really quick here. There was 40 cars, so probably one of the biggest fields we've seen in a long time here in a league race on iRacing. So that leads us to the question, of course, with that many cars, what was your thoughts going through your mind when you looked in there and saw 40 other cars, knowing there was going to be 4 heat races, a C main, a B main, and all of that you potentially had to fight through?
Well, that's not too big of a deal, having 40 cars. It's just the 30 minutes of practice without any changes or anything carrying over. Race some other leagues with 40, 50, 60 cars, and so we're getting used to this slick stuff. It's not scary, but it would be nice to have something to drive on somewhere at some point throughout the night. If it ends like this at the end of the feature, that's fine, but it makes it really one lane around Eldora, so it makes it kind of difficult. But, it is what it is.
Well, definitely one lane is unfortunate. Just racing it sometimes does happen, as you pretty much said. But overall, it's still a fantastic night of racing for you. So you got third place. Any sponsors or shout-outs you want to give for that third place finish?
Yeah, sure. World of Thunder's been a fun league to race on here Sunday night, so I'll thank them. Team SETI, guys had a good run pretty much tonight. For the most part, we were all there. Wicked Relief going with CBD, Colby's Eye Paints, Apple, Ford Red Line. And good run up to the top. Those guys at the front there, we were all pretty equal. I think they were a little better than me because they're better at the top. But congratulations, Josh, and I think Nathan, right? Or John, excuse me.
Oh, definitely a good run for everyone. And I'm not sure, Scott, are you here? I believe we have lost Scott here. So we will bring up second place. That is John Batista in that double 7. Wow, we cannot talk tonight. 077. A driver we have. Oh, sorry. There we go. There we go. My bad. I apologize for that. I clicked on the wrong name, but the 077 Joshua. Is it Steinke? Is that correct?
Correct.
All right, good. I heard from someone else too, so apologize for that mix-up on the name. I clicked the wrong button in the overlays, but second place here, and same thing, an outstanding race. We saw a ton of slide jobs back and forth, some crossover moves going on throughout the night. So obviously the high lane seems to be the place to be on iRacing. Um, Regardless of how this track goes here at Eldora, but there were some times to pass. So, what do you think the key you needed? If we had a caution come out and you would have been able to go green again, what do you think you would have needed to do to run down John?
If anything, all I needed was them to make a mistake. Like you said at Eldora, it's all high side dominant the whole entire time, and you just kind of want them to make the mistake, and for just to get you would have a good run, good turn, and then you would be able to maybe pull off a good slider where you had enough momentum to keep it coming out of the turn to be ahead of them yet, and that's about all you could hope for here. And if anything, the only other move you really had was to pull a deep slider where you know you didn't have the momentum, but you needed to chop off their line a little bit just to get them to slow down, so where it gives you a chance to get a good slider battle going in at Eldora, and hopefully you prevail.
We just had the super late models, and then you come over here and we have the 360s, both of which you're running the high side. When you have something like a super late model compared to a sprint car, uh, we know there's a thin line, but as a driver for someone out there that's not on iRacing or hasn't been into real race cars, we know there are some out there. Um, how thin is that line between borderline being right on the cushion and on that wall with the right rear and getting good speed and wrecking the car with it, just plastering it all over the wall?
I would say it's definitely a really fine line. It's maybe a foot, maybe 2 feet total, where your right rear has to go. And if it's not on that line, it's either you're losing a tenth or you're hitting that wall and going over the cushion. It's Eldora. It shouldn't really be that way. Really not at all. So hopefully, maybe down the line, iRacing will be able to fix that fine line situation here, and maybe Eldora will start to bring some good racing. Otherwise, it wasn't too bad. We made do with what we had out on the track, and it seemed like could have still put on a pretty good show.
Well, definitely you put on a great show out there. Before we let you go, we know you probably got some shout outs and some sponsors on the card to thank. So who'd those be for that second place finish?
Uh, yeah, I'd like to thank all the guys at Black Diamond Motorsports, especially John for pulling out this nice victory. I'd like to thank you for broadcasting, UDTV for being a sponsor with Brett and Raven Graphics, and other fans and family watching at home. And I don't know what happened at the end of that race, but sorry to Braden. I don't know what happened exactly. I think just an unfortunate racing incident at the end, and Heilman pulling off. I'm just happy to take home second tonight with all that happened.
Well, definitely a solid finish. And speaking of another solid finish, the one we accidentally got on the wrong button there we clicked. Now, if we can get it to pull up here, there we go. That is the 35 of John Batista, led 37 laps here tonight, all but 8 laps. As we were mentioning there, a name that we know, but we haven't seen in a very long time. Well, first off, John, congrats on the win here tonight. And we haven't seen you in a long time, so I'm not sure how your win streak's been going. Is this a continued streak, or are you happy to be back in victory lane again?
Yeah, it has been a while. Other than Josh, who's been really carrying our team for the past few months, Nathan, me, Sean, and Trevor, we've really kind of been in hibernation for about 4 or 5 months, maybe longer. I think this past month or so, we came out of retirement, figured out something new. As far as setting the cars up, and I feel pretty dominant lately, if not dominant, putting on a decent performance at pretty much every track, so that's exciting. But yeah, Charles, it has been a very long time since I've seen you up here.
Yeah, we kind of did our own little hibernation, I guess you could say. We have been stepped away. We did a lot of asphalt, but we got some little free time, and well, here we are back at the dirt track again. And I guess it's that time of the year. It is getting February, March time. It's time for dirt racing to pick back up again in real life. So we figured we'd come do some online racing as well. But again, a dominating performance here as you lead 37 laps. One thing we were talking about that we didn't even know was coming here was the four wide salute for the fans. Obviously, you are familiar with that, as we used to do it with DSRL. So, just how cool is it here for the fans? I know we had a lot of chatter about it going on. To be able to do that four wide salute to all the fans, and then to come dominate the race.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome when it goes right, and Steven did a great job of laying it out in the drivers' meeting beforehand. But to be honest, it was dreadful. That wasn't the best four wide I've seen, but wasn't Steve's fault. It wasn't anybody in the admin crew's fault. It was just I don't know why, but I kind of just took off there and led the field by myself. I don't know what happened behind me, but yeah, it's pretty awesome to do on online racing. It's not a thing a lot of people get to experience, but when it goes right, it's pretty cool.
Well, we'll chalk it up to you were just giving them a rundown of how this race was going to go, because you pretty much checked out from this field and had a sizable lead, and even on the restarts you had perfect restarts and got a huge lead, and it sailed your way into victory lane here tonight. So last question before we let you go, thank your sponsors and stuff. What are you going to do to celebrate this win?
I'm probably gonna sit here and think, maybe eat the rest of my wings I had earlier. And I just want to thank my teammates at Black Diamond Motorsports for putting in some awesome work lately. Glad to finally be racing again. Hopefully we don't get too burnt out here. I want to thank Brett at Ultimate Dirt TV, Bob King at BK Designs, Charles, you guys, and Virtual Racing Network for broadcasting this. Welcome back to Dirt. And Steven and those guys for World of Thunder.
Well, again, congrats on the win. And to our top three and everyone else that did show up here tonight. It's been some great racing for both races. Before we officially sign off here for the night, we need to thank all of our sponsors that have made this broadcast possible. Those include Northwest Racing Series, Wolves Beard Co. Beard Bomb, RaceOnTexas.com, StemSpeedShop.com, iBog, and Racecore. On behalf of myself, Charles, Nick Robinson, Scott Bargoff, and all of the World of Thunder drivers and admin crew, we will see you at the next race, which will be some VLR racing with the Super Late Model Series Tuesday night. We'll see you there, and have a great rest of your night.
This copyrighted broadcast may not be used in any form without the authorized written consent of Virtual Racing Network. VRN would like to thank all of our fans for your support, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.